Hello people of the internet, I'm not an Englishman, and in this week's video of Not the Film Directing Masterclass, I am completely overdressed while I talk about books. Okay, before we begin, these are the books that in my opinion are the most helpful. I went through quite a lot of them, but definitely not all of them, so I'm pretty sure there's a vast number of books out there that are just as good, if not better, than the ones that I'm going to talk about in this video. All of the books will be linked in the description, so don't stress yourself with writing down as soon as I mention them, as if. I wasn't really sure whether to include this one at all, as people like to immediately call you pretentious when you start mentioning this book, but I think everyone should build up from the roots and understand the basics of drama and therefore read it. Every other book that I will mention in this video includes a lot of what is written in this one, and if you ever read anything on storytelling, filmmaking, writing or drama, reading Poetics might not give you any revolutionary knowledge. However, it is necessary that we learn where our art form arrives from. Where our art form arrives from. Say that 3 times really quickly, I dare you.
I double dare you, motherfuckers!
It's a short book anyway. It covers pretty much all the basics on storytelling, talks about the importance of catharsis and why all the emotions and events need to be portrayed larger than life in order to achieve it. I mean, it translates so directly into filmmaking is amazing. There's also loads to be learned about editing from this book and of course writing. Seriously, get this book and read it, if nothing else, just to see how smart and advanced Aristotle was and how little storytelling has changed from ancient Greece. I've just finished reading this one recently and I immediately bought one for my girlfriend as well, who's a painter. This book has nothing to do with filmmaking at all, but it's the ultimate book that will kick your ass into working mode every single day. What it does is it basically analyzes procrastination, makes it your biggest enemy and gives it a name, resistance. And it kind of becomes this manual against resistance, and you almost feel as if you're a part of this underground movement that wants to destroy it.
La resistance lives on.
It will leave you without any excuses, as it throws out the window every possible one. From your job to your family, even your health. It gets kind of religious at a certain point, which I didn't really like from the beginning, but once you understand the point of it, it makes sense and you just go with it. Really, if you never lay your hands on any other book that I'm mentioning in this video, just get this one. I got it Kindle edition, I think for £1, and now it's about 4 or 5. Check it out, just read it. In case anyone is complaining that none of the books I've mentioned so far are about filmmaking, you're absolutely right. But don't worry, there will be those as well, but as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, you shouldn't read too many books on filmmaking. Films aren't about filmmaking, and once you know what you want to talk about, you will find a way to make a film. It's the know what you want to talk about part that you should be concerned about. I bought this book completely randomly, no higher expectations, and it blew me away. First, there's loads of illustrations. I mean, who doesn't like illustrations in books? Come on. Some of them might look a bit simplistic and on occasion even childish, and they're not too unified as well, but they still give you the general idea, which is kind of the point. Plus, if you're too lazy to go and Google it later, it's just your fault. There's just so much in that book that every director should know about. There's mythology, psychology, history. I mean, it's about symbolism. I don't think I need to explain what symbolism is, but movies are pretty much filled and made of symbols and allegories on life. The book covers pretty much everything from sounds, nature, mathematics, rituals, magic. I mean, I could go on and on. Seriously. It just opens up a new understanding of art, and after reading this book or just checking it out, you know, you watch a film and suddenly stuff just starts popping out and things just makes so much more sense. Finally, we're on to filmmaking. So the one I'm talking about here looks like this. It's been published by Focal Press and this is the 5th edition, I think. It is. It covers all you need to know before you step on set, from developing your own style to analyzing script, working with actors, how and what to shoot, the whole production process. I mean, it's pretty much a Bible. And why I like this book so much is because it tells you which questions to ask when working on film. A good book should never give you answers, but rather teach you the questions. Oh, that That's actually pretty deep. It contains a lot of useful information, and I would suggest writing them down on separate pieces of papers while reading, because otherwise you'll be like me with loads of underlined paragraphs that are still inside the book. Or don't, if that's not your thing, whatever. I talked to a few directors about this book, and they've all confirmed that this is probably the best book on the topic. That might also be because there's not many of them out there. And I agree, this one covers pretty much everything you need to know before you start rehearsing, and it's written in a very friendly way, so it makes every point really clear. Again, covers script analysis, training with actors, games, rehearsals, casting, working with non-professional actors, and how to go about certain problems you most likely will come across on set. My favorite quote from this book is, "There are no problematic actors, there are only actors with problems."
Und du sagst es mir nicht, aber schreib aber nicht, leg mich doch am Arsch weg! Der Moment ist überhaupt gekommen, wo ich dir in die Fresse haue!
Again, write the useful stuff on papers, as you will certainly be referring to this book again and again. This one is about cinematography and visual storytelling and covers every possible shot, explaining its usage and effect, gives examples from films, and also tells you how to break the rules. If you're not completely new to film and cameras, you might find this one a bit useless, but the reason I really like it is because it's the only one that I read that introduced me to the image system, which is, and I quote, "systematic understanding of film through the analysis of images, editing patterns, shot composition, and ideological tendencies of certain directors." Also talks about symbolism in images, the power of certain angles, lights, and colors. You definitely start watching films differently after reading this one. And it also implants something into your brain so that you start thinking more visually when writing stuff or preparing to direct. Okay, really quickly before I finish, I wanted to mention two more books. They won't necessarily teach you anything new, but they might give you a nod that you're in the right direction. It's these two books, Cinematography and Directing from the FilmCraft series. There's also editing and producing and screenwriting in the series, but I only read these two. These don't have any lessons, but what they are is a collection of interviews with successful filmmakers. You have Clint Eastwood, Vittorio Storaro, Pedro Almodovar, Christopher Doyle, and so on, and they're sharing their philosophies and experience. Jonny from Creative North on YouTube made a nice series of videos about one of these, and I'll link that as well, give it a watch. These are the books that I think will help you as a film director. As I've mentioned in an earlier video, these books often become a way of procrastinating, as you just need to read this one and then you'll be ready. Now, none of these books will instantly make you a Coppola, and none of these will give you the experience you need if you really want to be a good director, which is actually directing films. Thank you for watching. Like this video if you think this was helpful, like if you think it wasn't. Why not? Why shouldn't you like if you don't like something? And whatever you do, do not forget to click the subscribe button, as there's a new video with this kind of extremely useful stuff every single Monday. Hope that helps. Now get up and make your film.